My mother-in-law has been controlling our lives for so long. I can't take it anymore.
I don't want to do this anymore, Grandpa.
That's too dang bad. This will be a lot. So bear with me, and thank you to anyone who reads this. Possible trigger warning, mentions of family friends, self-harm. Mother-in-law is a super controlling, manipulative, and self-absorbed person, especially when she doesn't get her way.
Hooray.
Here is a snapshot of a few issues we've had leading up to this most recent one. By the way, this comes from user TyAccomplished1505. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, when husband graduated from college, he was offered a job in another state. Mother-in-law and sister-in-law cornered me at one point and accused me of taking their son and brother away from them. After we moved, we eloped because I needed to be able to be on his health benefits due to some medical things I had going on. We already have a small wedding planned for that next year at his parents' house. Mother-in-law did not like the fact that we got married and told husband that I was not allowed to change my last name or tell anyone that we were married. Okay. I flew back a few months before the wedding to finish getting everything settled. Husband and I had everything planned out just as we wanted. When we flew back for the wedding, mother-in-law literally changed everything about the wedding. We wanted a small, intimate wedding, country theme with hay bales and shepherd hooks, just very low-key. We wanted to do a run-through of the day, but she refused to do that. She refused to let my mom come and help. My little brother was the ring bearer, and she kept making comments about how he was the only thing that would not be perfect about the wedding. You just remove her. It's that you just remove her from her duties. Stop listening to her. Do not give her permission to change everything about your wedding. Husband and her ended up getting into a huge fight once we found out that she had changed everything. We found out that she talks trash about me behind my back to everyone. We ended up moving back home, and I got pregnant. First thing mother-in-law said to us was to let her know what her boundaries are. Of course, anytime we have done that, it's caused problems. My in-laws are very wealthy. They went in with some family friends and bought a large amount of property and are building a subdivision. The family friends unfortunately lost their daughter 7 years ago to self-harm, so are naming their part of the subdivision after her. Mother-in-law decided to name their part of the subdivision after, what is L.O.?
Lost
Late
Owens.
L.O.?
Luke Olson.
Low order.
Law and order.
Decided to name their part of the subdivision after L.O. without our permission. Little one?
Little oyster.
Do they have a kid? Is that little one?
Lows?
Loved one?
Loved one.
I don't know. It's little one. Amanda Perillo. Yeah.
Little one.
I got there. I got
you.
there all by myself.
Little brother bear.
I got there all by myself. After husband and I discussed this, we decided it made us uncomfortable, especially since the other part was being named as memorial for a young girl who committed self-harm. Husband called mother-in-law to let her know, and she got all pissed off and hung up on him. Fast forward to when the little one was born a few days before Thanksgiving, mother-in-law was kind enough to watch our dogs for us.
All right.
Even though I wanted a week to adjust being home before having people over, we allowed mother-in-law to come over on Thanksgiving to bring the dogs back. Over the next month, she came over twice a week. Mother-in-law would bring food to us, which was super nice of her. I told husband that it was getting to be too much for me having her over so much. I wanted time to myself to figure out being a new mom and establish a routine. She would also come over and try to tell us how to parent. There was a day where both our families came over. My family had already arranged to be over that day, but then his parents stopped by as well. It was too much for the baby to be passed around all day, and she was really overstimulated. After that, we set a boundary that we were limiting the number of people that came over in a day.
Nice.
What would you put your limit at?
I was feeling this way.
If you had a little baby, little tiny Riley.
Little RJ, Riley Jr. I don't know, whatever felt right. I don't know, maybe like 3 people, 3 couples. 6.
6 people?
Yeah.
No one gets to see my child.
3 families.
I'm keeping my child sealed away until it's perfect. Fast forward to Christmas. My mom, niece, and I had made plans a week before to do some baking on Christmas Eve. The day before, mother-in-law called me and said she was going to be coming over tomorrow to see the baby and bring gifts and baked goods. I started to tell her that my mom was going to be over, and she interrupted me and said, "Oh, so if your mom is over, I'm not welcome."
Ooh.
I said, "That's not what I said," and proceeded to tell her what we'd talked to the doctor about and some of the health concerns we were trying to figure out with the baby. She then said, "Fine, I'll just call my son. Bye," and hung up on me. She then texted her son, my husband. Their exchange is below to give a clear picture. I took out names for privacy and just put name. A few things to clarify. His parents live an hour from us, but his brother lives across the street and has only seen the baby once when she was a week old.
Okay.
We have asked two things of everyone. 1, no social media pictures, and 2, let us know ahead of time if you want to see the baby.
Okay, these seem reasonable. These seem fair.
Pretty reasonable.
I would like to see the baby.
I would like to see the baby. When this happened, my family had only seen the baby once. Mother-in-law had been over 8 times.
Dude, she drove, like, that is 16 hours. Within how long?
Too long.
16 hours?
She lives an hour away. She came and saw it 8 times. That's 16 hours of driving.
Yeah, but like separated, like not all at once.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. How long? Is this a 2-week gap? Is this a week gap? Month?
I think that's the entire time the baby's been alive.
Well, how long?
Which at this point is like a month.
2 months after it was born.
Well, it was born right before Thanksgiving, and this is coming up on Christmas. Mother-in-law, good morning, son. I was going to run down early in the morning and drop off a Christmas gift for you and some baked goods. I was told I cannot do that because Name is going to be at your house baking pies with Name. So I want to wish you a Merry Christmas and tell you I love you, and I guess I'll see you some other time. Husband, good morning. Yeah, we're limiting visits to one person and family per day. Last week turned into a nightmare for a couple days with Name when a bunch of people came over in one day. You guys are more than welcome to come down on Sunday or Monday. Just let us know so we can plan to limit it to just you guys that day. Merry Christmas, and I love you too.
Aw.
Mother-in-law, this is just unbelievable to me.
Girl.
Who are you? Oscar the Grouch? Living in a trash can of your own design?
Dude.
This is just unbelievable to me. We already knew we could not see you or her for Christmas, and nobody communicated to us that there is a new set of rules that now require us to schedule our visits independent of everyone else. We'll never get to see her because Name's family, who have the advantage of living locally and not working, will always be conveniently there. To be told that I can't stop by to drop off Christmas presents on the morning of Christmas Eve. On the morning of Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve morning?
Just say Christmas Eve. And see the baby for a few minutes after driving 130 miles round trip just blows me away.
Well, that's why you text ahead of time. Why you text people, you're like, hey, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah, you just make plans.
Yeah.
How many times has she been over? She can't compromise and coordinate her schedule with me. My 30-minute visit is not what's harmful to the baby. It's much bigger than that, and I'm not stupid. The message being sent is loud and clear and deeply hurtful. We have other obligations on Sunday, and we work on oh my, does this woman ever stop yapping?
I can relate.
So... Oh, brother. I feel like I got away with mine. I don't know if you're going to get away with yours. We have other obligations on Sunday, and we work on Monday. So the alternative times you gave me will not work. As far as the baby's gifts, it's just some first Christmas things like a memorabilia, infant blanket, and burping bibs, and blah, 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 blah. So meeting after Christmas defeats the purpose and takes away the fun. I don't know. Name. I wasn't raised this way. You weren't raised this way. And we've certainly brought several babies into our families. In fact, I don't personally know of anyone who has experienced such one-sided arm's length control that's being imposed on us. Oh my God.
Bro.
Go write the Magna Carta or whatever. This is your 4 paragraphs in.
Goodness gracious.
He's just saying, come next week.
Yeah.
The baby's going to get overstimulated. You wench.
Just a little heads up. And if you were so chill and like actually a good mother-in-law, they probably wouldn't care. But you bring this heavy weight with you every time you visit, and they wanna make sure the weather is nice for the baby for the first couple of months it's alive.
I feel defeated, hurt, and angry. I seriously don't understand. I digress. You've been digressing the whole time, lady. Moving forward, we will quietly wait for an invitation to see you and our granddaughter and see if our schedules can coordinate with the proposed time slot allotted to us. This is not our choice or what we want.
OP.
So please, it's not. So please make sure we are not wrongfully accused of not wanting to see the baby or being involved in her life. We are doing our best to adapt without taking it personally. And right now, that's not working so well. If my eyes could roll into the back of my head, I'd do it right now.
Do it.
I can't.
Try.
They can't. Okay, husband, it is reasonable to ask if someone has plans on a certain day before visiting and to plan for something more than the day before, just like you have plans on Sunday, and just like a sensible client would ask you to show a house. This isn't a new rule, it's common courtesy. I'm going to stop you right there on insinuating that you're being treated differently. OP's family is being held to the same expectation, and I've had to have the same conversation that she had with you with them, but they had a drastically different response. You were the first to see her, and you have seen her more than anyone else. So take a step back and quit making assumptions. The decision to limit visitors to one person or family a day was my decision, and I'm not asking for permission or approval of my parenting. There's a fine line that's being tiptoed in your message, implying that it's OP's fault. It's not. I'm home every Friday and would have told you the same thing she did if you had called me yesterday, because everybody is being held to the same expectations of planning more than a day ahead. The message is to have people plan their visits so that when they are here, it's just them and the baby, and to minimize exposure to multiple people in a short time frame per the doctor's direction. I'm sorry you feel this way, but I'm not going to enable outbursts like this when all of it could have been solved with a simple conversation last week. I'm not going to dictate the level of involvement people have in the baby's life by coordinating invitations. If you want to see her, reach out to me more than a day ahead to set up a time to come by and respect other people's time with her.
So imagine you just said all that to a wall.
Yeah, I imagine that's about as effective as that's going to be. But we have a response right here. Noted.
Okay, if it was noted, you would make more than just one word. You would bullet point like what they said. Okay, sorry.
I wasn't coming down to hang out or interrupt pre-scheduled plans. I was simply dropping off Christmas presents and goodies and leaving. Yeah, freaking. Has that ever happened in the history of humanity where someone brings Christmas gifts for the newborn that's like the mother-in-law and is like, all right, I'm going to leave now? Yeah, right. You can say that. It's real convenient.
Actually, it did happen.
No.
For one baby.
No.
And it was 3 guys.
What?
Yeah. So this one.
They definitely hung out. They definitely hung out. You know they hung out.
So there was this one baby.
They had the frankincense and the myrrh.
Yeah.
And then they had the one more thing. What was it?
Frankincense, myrrh, gold.
Gold?
I think.
They gave Jesus the bling?
Don't quote me on that. Apparently he was like 2 when that happened. He wasn't a newborn. He was like 2 years old.
Really?
Yeah, that's a theory.
Seems pretty fishy. I could not stay, nor did I ask to stay. I was doing a drop-off. That's it. A drop-off. I wanted to be gone from GJ by 9 a.m. The heck is GJ? Great Jolly.
Good jolly.
I don't know. GJ was mentioned earlier.
Jolly
Great
bee.
Jakes.
I was right. It was gold. Yeah, I was right. You got the bling.
3 Kings.
Anyways, back to the story. Back on. We're getting back on track.
Well, we're trying to figure out what's good J.
We don't know what GJ is, so we're going to pretend like we know.
Great junipers. I wanted to be gone from GJ by 9 a.m., which most likely was before name arrived or the pie baking began. And I would say what that name was supposed to be, but I honestly cannot tell because there's so many different people with their names removed. My intent wasn't to intrude on their mother-daughter time. I only wanted to take a mere few minutes to give you your gifts and goodies, get a hug from my son, sneak a peek at the baby, and get on the road. My call was a courtesy call that I was going to be in town early and wanted to drop off presents and leave. It wasn't a last-minute call to expect everyone to change their plans, and it wasn't a last-minute call to hang out. It would have been easier if I was told to leave the presents and goodies outside your door than to be told I wasn't allowed at your home to drop off presents. No matter how you put it, that's just effed up. You've made your point. Your house, your rules, regardless of how ever-changing they are. I promise you I won't put myself in this hurtful situation again. It would be nice, though, if you revisited what harm it would have been for me to drop off the presents early this morning while I was swinging through town on other business, mind you, without any intention of staying. Quick in, quick out to leave the presents. How was that disrespectful? And for the record, God, we're still adding to the record? Still?
This
Records are made to be broken. Records are made to be broken.
She's breaking a record.
Dude,
I
this
know.
typist's like hands have like blisters on them.
I got blisters on my fingers.
Good stuff.
And for the record, feel free to visit our home any time of day, any day of the week, unannounced or scheduled, as you will always be welcome with love and open arms. Yeah, shut up, lady, because you don't have a newborn baby.
Ooh, you had one, then it got older and had a newborn.
Stop trying to throw it out. Like, I would never do this to you.
GJ is Grand Junction. That's what.
I love the Grand Junction.
Grand Junction? Oh,
Yep.
so they're in Colorado?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Dang.
It's a bowling place.
Doxed. After this, they had texted and arranged to come see the baby a few weeks later. During this time, husband and his mom had spoken a few times. Husband got the vid and she flipped again because he didn't tell her he had it. She then sent me this. Somebody told me that you have the vid. I'm so sorry to hear that, and I will pray for your healing. I have it too, and am feeling pretty rough. It's times like these that make us remember the brevity of life. I personally lost 4 friends in the past 3 months who, in a matter of hours, ended up in the hospital on a ventilator and passed away a few days later. Unbelievable and shocking.
Dang.
One of our friends is still in Denver on life support with failed kidneys. He was a healthy athlete who sadly caught the vid. My point is, we're not promised tomorrow.
So let me see your kid.
So we shouldn't live like it and leave important things unsaid. I don't want to make you any more angry than you already are or retreat further than you already have. But if tomorrow doesn't come for me, then at least I did not leave this unsaid. It feels like you've cut me out of your life. Now, mind you, this is just 2 weeks later. This is not 2 years later. This is not 10 years later. This is 14 days in the future.
But in baby years,
That's
it's like
eternity.
I don't know.
dude, seeing a 2-week-old go to a 2-month-old,
8 times.
you've missed so much.
8 times.
My brother is taller than my mother,
It's not her kid.
and he's 12. That's like I missed like 10 years of his life. I missed probably
What,
2, but
point guard?
he's probably gonna be center.
Really?
I'm
He's
gonna be
like
point
that,
guard. I'm gonna be the
he's like
shortest in the family.
That big.
Yeah.
It feels like you cut me out of your life and OP's life, or no, probably the baby's life, which has pretty much destroyed me, but you knew it would. That's no secret. I'm a good mom. I've always been a good mom, and I deeply, unconditionally love you. I still don't understand how or why you are treating me this way. Husband says, I will be praying for your healing too.
All right.
It's definitely a scary thing, but thankfully the data on the new strain is promising. It's not as life-threatening. Of course I'm angry and hurt. I set a boundary with an immediate compromise for another day and was met with backlash about my choice and accusations based on assumptions towards OP and her family, which weren't true. I made my point and was met with more questioning of my decisions, but I'm not going to argue and justify my parenting decisions to anyone, nor am I going to allow anyone to talk to me like that.
Let's go.
It just got worse from there when who was in the hospital? Who? It just
I'm
says
gonna
name.
say OP. I'm gonna say OP.
It just got worse from there when OP was in the hospital. I was keeping everyone in the loop as I received more information, and then you sent a message to our group asking if I received your voicemail, which painted me to look like a horrible person. I've not cut you out, but I'm definitely distant because I'm sick of the manipulation when you don't get your way. You are a great mom, but you need to step back and respect the boundaries I'm setting and allow me to be a parent. I do think about you and miss you and love you. I often think about how all of this could have been avoided.
Dude, this guy, this is textbook how to respond to anyone. I bet this guy's emails he has no issues at work.
Just
this is so
grade
clear
A.
communication. Grade A.
Grade E.
A number
E for
1 sauce
excellent.
right there.
A for absolutely stunning. Mother-in-law, thank you for taking the time to give me a snapshot of how you see things. Why do I feel like that's so condescending?
It's like, I'm sorry you feel that way.
Yeah.
It's like a version of that.
Thanks for your snapshot of your like emotional window. Okay. I appreciate the fact you communicated in a candid and brutally blunt manner. I'd like permission to share my side in the same blunt and candid manner. Let me know when you are ready to move forward. See, and then I would never speak to you again because I'm just like, you're so difficult. I don't care.
You're just upset someone told you no.
Truly, all of this, all of these paragraphs have just been come from one person being like, no, come next week. It's crazy. Husband replies, all this revolves around me holding everyone accountable to the same boundaries with the baby, but I'm not going to put it up for discussion. Enough damage has been done, and that'll just make it worse. During all this, they have not tried to see the baby and blew off the one time that they had arranged to see her. Mother-in-law has turned husband's whole family against him. Husband's aunt and uncle were in town a few weeks ago, and no one told him. He hasn't seen them in 6 years. They're also going to events as a family without him and posting it all over social media. What a bunch of winners they are. It's now been 12 weeks since this started and the last time they have seen her. Things are just getting worse. Father-in-law came down at one point to try to work things out and ended up just placing blame on husband and telling him he needed to call mother-in-law and work things out since mother-in-law won't. Husband has tried to open the door a few times to move forward, but all mother-in-law cares about is telling her side of the story and trying to control how we parent our child. I know she is completely gaslighting us and making us second guess. All of this started because we had plans one day when she wanted to come over. We do have an update here.
Please go low contact with this lady.
Yeah, she's
not getting the point.
She isn't, and she's not respecting any of your boundaries.
Yeah, she's just feeling like, well, that was mean. Can I be mean back? And it's like, I'm not even being mean. I'm just telling you what happened.
It just drains me when I have to deal with people like this.
Update. We had not heard from his mom since this until tonight. Dear husband's aunt and uncle are coming into town from out of state in a few weeks. His aunt texted him the other day to let him know, so we were thinking we could meet them for breakfast and they could meet my baby. Tonight, husband receives a group text from his mom letting him and his brothers know that they are having lunch one of the days at their house, which is an hour and a half away from where we live. This is the first time husband has received any communication since January 27th. 7th. His mother has caused problems on numerous occasions over the past 7 years we have been together. This most recent situation was my tipping point, and I've had enough. I wouldn't let anyone else treat me the way I've allowed his family to treat me. I also don't want my daughter exposed to that. His family is all super passive aggressive, and I know they will make sideways comments if I go. Anytime we have been at their house, they are all talking crap about someone. That's just the type of people they are. They are just rude and mean. His mother will also try to play the victim in this whole situation, like she's constantly done in all of the text messages, She has told everyone that we will cut her out and are keeping my baby from her, which is not true. We had plans back in February for them to see her, and they blew it off. We're not going to reach out and beg people to be in my baby's life. If they want to see her, they can reach out. If they cared about her at all, or if she were a priority to them, they would be involved in her life. It is pretty simple. All we ask is that they give us a heads up so we can plan to limit the number of people the baby is around at one time and to make sure we don't have any other plans. As mentioned in my other post, his brother lives across the street from us and hasn't seen her since she was a week old. Even though his parents live an hour and a half away, they have come to town on several different occasions that we know of and haven't tried to see her. The reason we know that is because they posted pictures on Facebook. What they want is for husband to apologize to his mom, even though we did nothing wrong. Unless we bow to her and let her control our lives, there will always be problems, especially when she doesn't get her way. All we have asked for is an apology from her so we can move forward, but all she cares about is being right.
Wonder why.
Yeah, because she's an dude. Oh my God.
I wonder if there's
she feels like she's been slighted. Now she needs justice. When really all she should care about is that you're her family and you have a new baby and she should just respect your boundaries as parents. She can't because she's an
It's crazy.
I do not want to go and sit in a house where it's been made perfectly clear how they really feel about me and my family. I also don't want my 4-month-old passed around between at least 10 different people, most of whom she has never met. Well, you know, when you're 4 months old, you haven't met most people. Sorry, it was a joke. I digress. The few that she has met, don't give me your fake stand-up comedy laugh, Riley. Get out of here.
Oh,
No, that wasn't real. Was it?
We'll never
I'll never know. You're so good at that.
I know. I'm a good actor.
He's
I
a
actually
good
should get
laugher.
into acting
He's a
pretty
good
soon.
laugher. My baby gets super overstimulated really easily. She's also in that stranger danger phase where she starts crying around people she doesn't know. His mom is super domineering, and I know the instant I walk in the door, she will take my baby from me. I also know that if I say something, I will be attacked. His mother has made these past 4 months absolutely miserable. It's not only worn on me, but on husband as well. His whole family has turned against him and has wanted nothing to do with us until now. And it's only so she can put on a show for her sister. I am super uncomfortable going to his parents' house with my baby, and the thought of going is causing me a ton of anxiety and giving me panic attacks. I've struggled a bit with postpartum depression and postpartum anxiety since having my baby 4 months ago, and this whole situation has not helped. I, of course, want to see husband's aunt and uncle and want them to meet my baby, but I feel like the best situation to do this is to meet them for breakfast. Am I in the wrong for not wanting to go? I feel like it's a lose-lose situation. Update number 2. Since last April, here is the update. I went against my better judgment and went to husband's parents' house last April to see his aunt and uncle who were in town, and it went as expected. I took the advice I got from a lot of you and wore my baby, who was 4 months old at that point.
What?
Maybe like it's like you wore them like was it like in a baby, like a papoose of some kind of baby satchel,
Maybe what they did.
or like they wore them out so
Tired
that they'd
them
be
out.
like napping.
Yeah, maybe that
Dude,
one.
this is a really bad time to have a typo, OP.
I'm gonna me personally, I like that she's wearing the baby so that no one can take the baby away because it's attached.
I can't
to
even
her.
imagine that. I don't want to.
Yeah, like a harness. You've never seen people walking around with a baby on them?
Oh, dude, my dad loved doing that with my little brothers.
Yeah.
And he got so mad whenever they were like too big to do that.
Yeah.
Because he's like a giant. Okay.
Dude,
you
your dad
guys
just
ever
got more yoked.
He really
I know.
did. You guys ever play Plants vs. Zombies? You know that
No.
one that's like
It's a
super
baby
big?
swing. Yeah, baby Bjorn. Yeah.
It's super big and he has a baby on the back of him. That's what my dad looked like. He was like a big boss like zombie with a little guy on top throwing stuff.
And he's like,
Yep. That was my dad.
During the actual visit, things were awkward and uncomfortable, but not horrible. I did let my mother-in-law and father-in-law both hold my baby when we were alone. I was really pressured into it by husband's aunt, but whatever, I allowed it. Before we left, they asked if they could get some pictures. Husband said sure, but I was going to still wear my baby and not let everyone pass her around. Okay, so it was my theory. After we went home is when things got ridiculous. Found out from my brother-in-law that my mother-in-law was telling everyone that I didn't let her hold my baby, which was a lie. They also cut me out of the pictures they took. Fast forward, we didn't talk to his parents again until September. There was still attempts on mother-in-law's part. She kept sending stuff in the mail and texting husband. He kept telling her that we would move forward once we received an apology. Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Come September, brother-in-law reached out and said he wanted to come over to talk with us about the whole situation, and he did. All he was doing was being her flying monkey. He came with all the texts printed out between dear husband and mother-in-law, and husband and father-in-law, and me and both of them, which wasn't many since I wasn't having much contact. He also came with screenshots of my Facebook. Mother-in-law had deleted husband, myself, and my entire family from Facebook. I just had to pause really quickly to just again, if someone is this difficult, just don't bother. I don't care if they're your mother-in-law, and you shouldn't either. This is a person who is going to do nothing but just drag on you.
I don't know. My thought process, they are dragging. This is an energy vampire. Family's family. It's hard to deal with certain family members.
It's these,
like,
this one is the hardest, seems like.
yeah.
Final boss.
Dude, if it's me, I'm like, yeah, no talkie until apology.
Yeah.
And then we'll see.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough situation. I hopefully will never be in this. Hopefully.
Shortly after she blocked my whole family, I did the same thing to the rest of my in-laws because it was hurtful seeing all the posts they were making. Brother-in-law threw a fit and claimed that I restricted them all from Facebook. When I told him, no, I actually deleted you all, he kept calling me a liar until I showed him my Facebook. I don't understand why it was okay for mother-in-law to do it, but I was out of line when I did it. Well, because mother-in-law can't do anything wrong. Mother-in-law did apologize for not being there for us and not being a part of the baby's life for the past 11 months. He said he didn't know how to handle the situation. Whatever. At one point, he told husband that he was acting just like his biological father, who was an abusive and violent man, which really hurt my husband.
Oh, had that happen to a family
Shut
member.
up, brother-in-law. What are you doing? Long story short, we just told brother-in-law that all we wanted was an apology. He said mother-in-law didn't even know what she needed to apologize for, which we said, yeah, that's a problem. And first of all, that's probably just a lie.
Yep.
She knows exactly what she would need to apologize for.
Dakota,
She's not going to do it.
I'm on your side now. I am off this boat. We are putting the anchor down. We're done. I'm swimming away.
Yeah. Nothing is left to be said until we receive an apology. A few hours after brother-in-law left, husband and I got a group text from mother-in-law saying, after talking to brother-in-law, I now know what I'm supposed to apologize for. It was total BS. After that, husband texted back and set up a time for us to go to their house and talk everything through. After a lot of thought, I decided not to go, and husband went by himself. He was there for about 5 hours. From what he said, his mom was super apologetic and was crying, just repeatedly saying how sorry she was. There were a few things he mentioned that she said that were red flags to me, and I instantly had this gut feeling that he was just manipulated, such as still shifting the blame to me, and boy was I right, unfortunately. Yeah, because all those are just fake tears, gaslighting and manipulating my child. Oh, your mom is so sorry, I didn't mean it.
Yeah, I would be having a conversation with hubby pretty soon. Where's the line?
Yeah.
This is a line. I don't know what their home life is like. Maybe dear husband is handling this very well. I would be asking, where's the line with this all? I don't want this to be the heavy vibes to be seeming through underneath the door cracks of our home. We got to get it out.
Yes, please. I agreed to let mother-in-law and father-in-law come to our house during the baby's nap, so the four of us could talk a few weeks after that. I spent time writing up what I wanted to say so I could cover everything I needed to. As typical of anytime I brought up something she did or said, she deflected, played victim, and shifted the blame back onto me. She was rude, mean, and aggressive towards me. And really quick pause, because not every person with narcissistic personality disorder is like a crazy toxic monster. It's just like a behavioral pattern that can manifest those kind of behaviors. I just wanted to say before anyone thinks I'm just like a hater of all people who are. It's not the case. It's actually really misunderstood in a lot of ways. The silver lining was that husband was there to witness all of it. At the end of the talk, I threw my hands up and she said she wasn't going to apologize when she didn't do anything wrong. There it is. There it is. She didn't do anything wrong. My father-in-law spoke up and said, we can agree to disagree. And we decided to try to take a step forward and start light communication with them again. The people pleaser in me will be the end of me. This conversation happened in October and I left not feeling any real resolve, but again hoped things would at least be civil for the baby and husband. It wasn't even 3 weeks later when the BS started up again. Mother-in-law started using brother-in-law even more as her flying monkey, and he was calling quite a bit, trying to manipulate and guilt trip my husband. Mother-in-law's behaviors did change, but they became more passive-aggressive and happened behind the scenes more often. When it came to them seeing the baby, since Halloween of 2022, they have seen her 4 times, all of which I initiated and invited them to. A trunk or treat a few days before Christmas, swimming at the end of January, and an Easter egg drop in April. They never want anything to do with her unless it's convenient for them, or they can use the baby to make themselves look good. Mother-in-law is one of those social media grandmas. They have asked a few times in between to see her, but it was always for events that were not appropriate for a child, things that we weren't comfortable with, or last-minute asks. For example, they asked us to bring the baby to a hunting banquet so they could show her off.
What?
Okay, now I know where you live, and I have seen this happen before. This whole situation.
You want to give us
before.
like a little paragraph
They're
on
definitely
hunting banquet?
from Georgia, South Carolina, Virginia, or Kentucky.
What is a hunting banquet?
Hunting banquet, I'm just going to put it out there. Never heard of it, but it's probably like where all these guys get together and they're like, hey, we're going to auction off some, pew-pews and some like hunting stands and some feed and bait.
Okay.
And it's like, hey, this is like what that looks like. I'm not sure how high tech this is, or like if it's just more than deer and coyotes and stuff. If it's like lions and stuff, like, ugh. But if it's like
exotic hunting is so
yeah,
wag.
I don't like that. But if it's
so
like,
wag. The only time you should hunt a lion is if it's hunting you.
It's
And you have no other choice.
But that's my thought.
They wanted to show her off, or they called us a few hours before asking to come over, even though we've told them before we need more notice than that. There's also been some passive-aggressive behavior towards me. When we went swimming, I invited them and they just watched. She started asking me about it, how often we go, and if dear husband comes. Husband told her that he doesn't go and that it's something baby and I do together when he is working. Then, after swimming, she made this huge deal about how she brought me a pool pass. I thought that was super nice of her because I know they are pricey, but the next time I went and tried to use it, I wasn't allowed to because she put it in husband's name. In my opinion, that was deliberate. The final straw for me was the egg drop on top of mother-in-law and father-in-law. Husband's grandma, grandpa, aunt, and uncle who live out of town came. That was fine, but we knew mother-in-law had been talking poorly about me beforehand because husband's aunt attacked me verbally at the egg drop in front of my baby, mother-in-law, and grandmother-in-law about things she wouldn't have known unless mother-in-law had said something. Right, because of course she's gossiping and spreading BS all around.
Don't you hate it when your parents drop some hot gossip at you just for some clout at family dinner?
Where is the husband?
Yep.
Where is the husband right now? He should be right up on her. Of course, mother-in-law and grandmother-in-law didn't step in or say anything while she was verbally attacking me. We had been invited to mother-in-law's house on Easter Day, but chose not to go based on past experiences. It's also hard with baby's nap schedule, and they live an hour and a half away. However, dear husband told mother-in-law we weren't coming because he needed a day to relax since he's working so much and going to school. That's why I invited them to the egg drop. Anyway, husband's aunt starts an argument with me in the middle of the egg drop about how I am letting my baby control me and that I should be controlling her and how rules are meant to be broken all over the fact that my baby takes a nap.
You should not be on your baby's schedule. You should not let your baby tell you when it's ready to eat. Don't let your baby make you leave the room just because you got to change it. Be in control of your baby.
Let me mention, she was 16 months old at this time. Then she starts in on me about how I'm to blame for us not attending Easter the next day. Husband said that he heard my mom voice and realized something was going on, so he stepped in and shut it down. On top of that, I was once again cropped out of the Easter pictures with my baby. It was at that point that I decided to go no contact. I've been so stressed out that I've been getting sick, having headaches, and losing a lot of weight. I, of course, let husband know that I didn't expect him to go no contact as well, but I needed him to support my decision. Well, today, he went no contact. You can see his post here.
Oh,
I am so proud of him. He is struggling with this decision as to be expected, but we both finally took the step and are putting ourselves first. That is a hard thing to do as a people pleaser. And here is the husband's post, everybody.
Ooh.
Here's the husband's post.
Dang. I would like to hear from this guy. Seems like I would like to work with this guy.
What I want to know is why like why anyone was given a chance to even go at OP when they know going in, they're essentially going into enemy territory. Like why was the husband and the wife not the unit that they should have been? He should have been running defense that whole time, you know?
It's the chronic PP, bro. You got chronic PP.
You know, he's got CPP.
You got CPP. Chronic people pleasing. If you have it, please call our number.
1-800-CPP. Okay, so here's the husband's post. Unfortunately, things have not gotten better since that post, and I just sent the email below and blocked my mom on everything. I'm just looking for some reassurance from you all with it being such a major decision. This no contact is particularly hard because I know it ultimately means no contact with my entire side of the family. And by the way, you don't have to go no contact with this side of the family. All you gotta do is go to your favorite podcasting app, be it iHeartRadio or Spotify or Apple Podcasts, and search the name of our show, OK Storytime. And there you can listen to 50 days, 1,200 hours worth of stories.
Basically, until your ears fall off.
And here's the email from husband.
Oh boy.
Dear Mom, I am writing to you today to talk about our relationship. It has been a long and difficult journey, but I have come to a decision that I feel is necessary for myself and my family. We have decided to go no contact with you for now. This decision isn't a knee-jerk reaction to one big event, but is a very difficult one that has been carefully considered after a lot of small actions that have slowly chipped away until this finally struck core. I want to emphasize that this decision was not made lightly, and it was not meant to hurt you or punish you in any way. Rather, it is a decision that we have made to protect ourselves from further emotional pain and distress. Over the years, I have struggled to maintain a relationship with you due to the hurtful and damaging behaviors that have repeatedly surfaced. I've tried to communicate my concerns to you, but unfortunately, it seems that my words have fallen on deaf ears. As a result, I have come to the realization that I need to prioritize my own mental health and the well-being of my family. I hope you can understand that this decision is necessary for our own healing and growth. I want to express my gratitude for the positive experiences and support you have provided me with in the past. I genuinely appreciate those moments. However, for the sake of our own well-being and personal growth, we have decided to take some time apart. I hope that in time, we can find a way to rebuild our relationship on healthier terms. Sincerely, OP. And that,
my man,
is the end. And honestly, I can't think of a better way to put that. That was a
my
perfect
dude.
email.
That's my dude right there.
You correctly gassed up his email skills. That was flawlessly executed.